I think the most common mindset shift that people don't realize, they already know the answer. You have to accept the fact that you need to change.
What impact do you most want to create?
The impact that I want to create is
Vikas Arora, a business and mindset transformation coach, his work blends mindset shifts, resilience, practical systems so you can take what you are best at. After a high-flying corporate career in corporate, he became a mentor to founders through Microsoft Startups program and a coach to individuals and entrepreneurs around the world. What's the key lesson from your Microsoft Startups?
it takes one drop of vinegar to change a bowl of milk. And I think if I could just be that one drop of vinegar, that's it.
Vikas, thanks for joining the Impact Show.
Thank you.
Great to have here. Since this is an Impact Show, I want to start with this. When you think about your personal and professional journey so far, what impact do you most want to create in the world?
Very deep question to kick things off, Shyam. I think for me, for me personally, the impact that I want to create is just if I can just help someone in any form whatsoever, find the best version of themselves, overcome a challenge that they may have encountered, just realize that they can make a change and make a difference. That to me is the greatest impact. You know, it's my dad has this quote, and I said it the other day, that it takes one drop of vinegar to change a bowl of milk. And I think if I could just be that one drop of vinegar, that's it. So, yeah.
What's the biggest mindset shift you've seen make or break someone's success?
I think the most common mindset shift that people don't realize that they have within them is half the time they already know the answer. And the biggest mind shift that I've seen in people is that, you know, realizing that and realizing that I can now make a change. I've worked with so many founders.
Sure.
And what I've seen with a lot of the founders that I work with, that self-belief is paramount. They know they can do it.
Sure.
Which is why they're doing it.
Yeah.
They have this innate, beautiful skill and quality that they believe in their vision, they believe in their purpose. They have a clear set mission and values. It's that constant belief that they can do it, the hustle, that I think is a great quality, and it's a great shift. But you know, when I see people suddenly realize that, God damn, yeah, I can do this.
Yeah.
That kind of expression that you see on their face is just magical.
You talked about the make, right? So what would be the opposite? Break.
Well, I think, you know, when we think about sort of the
Like
mindset shift that can break their
self-doubt.
Yeah, I think there's a number of different things. So yeah, if you think about the opposite to self-belief, it's self-doubt.
Yeah.
The biggest, I think, area that where people struggle with is limiting beliefs. You know, and you know, we all carry, you know, some form of sort of negative mindset with us, and that could be hereditary. It could be through our parentage. It could be how we were brought up. It could be society. It could be family. It could be work. You know, it doesn't take a lot to break someone's belief in themselves. You know, if you think about right now with what's happened over the last 2 to 3 years with so many organizations downsizing because of the impact of the what I call the apocalyptic impact of COVID.
Sure.
Right? We're still not seeing the last of it. Right? You know, that has, you know, where people, amazing people in companies that are sort of, you know, high flyers, high achievers have suddenly been victims of, you know, downsizing. It impacts their belief in themselves. And then they start to think, I'm not worthy, you know, I wasn't good enough, that's why I was chucked out, you know. So, you know, limiting beliefs is one of the strongest ones, and that negative mindset is a strong one. Do you know what? We all suffer from it. Everyone does. You know, as soon as you hit an obstacle or you hit any sort of brick wall, you suddenly start to doubt yourself and doubt your abilities. But what makes a person jump back and jump back into their original skin is, reflecting back on what they did well, how they did it,
Sure.
and jumping back into that mindset. And that I've seen a lot of successful people do, is when they've hit that brick wall, when they're in that kind of, chasm of despair, they carry on. They don't stop. They know they can do it because they've done it before. There's a great quote by Thomas Edison when someone asked him that, the 10,001th time when he was trying to invent the light bulb, why are you doing it again? You've already failed 10,000 times.
Sure.
And he said, no, I know 10,000 ways of how not to do it.
Sure.
And that's a great mindset to have. It doesn't matter how many times you step back, you constantly believe in yourself and your abilities. You will know that, okay, I didn't do it right that time. I know why. I won't do that again. And that's how people can jump back out of, when they are broken to an extent, from their belief system is broken, or they're in self-doubt, is jump back into your mindset of, what made you successful in the first place.
Because in your quantum growth work, you help leaders achieve breakthroughs that feel almost exponential. So founders like me, how can they spot difference between incremental growth and true quantum growth in their business?
So many people want to jump from A to Z.
Yeah.
And they miss the B, C, D, E, F in between. Quantum growth comes from, realizing that, the journey from A to Z requires learning at every step.
Sure.
And growing at every step. And that's the important thing. That's how you achieve exponential growth.
Sure.
Because you can't climb a ladder by skipping to the top step. You have to climb every step. And some people say, yeah, I can. Great. If you can, you've got some insurmountable strength in you,
Sure.
mentally and physically. So that's great. But I think that, leaders that grow, founders that grow, they're going to encounter pitfalls. They'll learn from it. They'll carry on.
Yeah.
And that's kind of quantum growth to me. The definition of quantum growth for me is, first untapping the skills that you have within you.
Sure.
Your
That's
growth.
step one.
Yeah, step one. Knowing that growth mindset is going to help you all the way.
Yeah.
And then being adaptable and being resilient to the changes that come your way.
Sure.
Change is a constant in our life.
Yeah.
It is one of the biggest constants in our life.
Not many people accept that
Right?
change, right? So
Exactly. Yeah. And change happens from, you when you become, you give birth to a child. We're both parents. You give birth to a child, that's an impact in your life. That's a massive change. You have to adapt.
Yeah.
You have to become resilient. You're now responsible for a life.
Sure.
You help them grow, and they encountered their own journey: school, college, university, work, relationships, becoming parents. That change is constant. So if that change is constant,
Sure.
the same applies to our professional life. That change is constant.
Sure.
Be it whether you're in a corporate role or be it if you're running your business. And so I think quantum growth, that understanding that there is change,
Yeah.
and being adaptable to change,
Okay.
is another great step. And then perseverance,
Sure.
battling through,
Yeah.
getting your elbows dirty, you're knee deep in mud, powering through. And I think that that's really important. That if you can persevere through the hard times,
Sure.
then you'll be flying high in the good times. But knowing that at some point you've got to land, and there will be another time where you're challenged again, but you've already done it. It's a quantum
Sure.
growth. That's a constant cycle.
How do you use NLP or quantum manifestation to reframe limiting beliefs?
It takes a lot of work, right? I think it takes a lot of work. I think the first thing is that, you have to accept the fact that you need to change. You've got to accept personally that there is something that needs to shift. And if I take my own personal journey, and I've told this story a few times to a few people. So I wasn't very big into personal growth. I thought, what is this woo-woo stuff? It's all rubbish.
Yeah.
My manager at the time at Microsoft gave me a book, The Power of the Subconscious Mind by Dr. Joseph Murphy.
Sure.
I read it. And I kind of thought, okay, this is pretty cool.
Yeah.
I love this. This is not bad. This is really good. And then a friend of mine gave me a Tony Robbins book, and for the life of me, I can't remember the title. But I think it was Atomic Growth or something like that, but it was one of his earlier books.
Sure. Unleashed.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Unleashed.
I read that.
Yeah.
And then I read The Power of Subconscious Mind again. I thought, wow, this stuff is really cool. This stuff is really great. I can see this. You start to realize that a lot of your personal life and where things haven't worked out the way you wanted to, and you question yourself and your actions and your abilities, and you do fall into this pit of woe is me, feel sorry for me, the world. But when you wake up out of that, you realize it awakens something within you. I think you have to go through that level of not self-denial, but battling with yourself to realize that something has to shift. So I had that in my when I turned, just around the time I turned 40. So I say to a lot of people that, my midlife crisis, a lot of people at that age would get a fast car, go have an affair, jump out of a plane with a parachute. No, I went into personal growth. And that was my midlife crisis.
Absolutely.
And then at that point, I started reading a lot about this. I started understanding, started making a few changes in my life, realized that my behavior was impacted by my lack of belief in myself. And that was impacting my family life and my relationship with my children and my wife and friends and so on. And my wife then made myself and our 3 boys, watch The Secret.
Okay.
And I wanted to go to the pub and meet my friends and watch football. And my kids wanted to play football in the garden. So we're sitting there like, God, we've got to watch this. And if she's listening to this, it's the best thing she ever did. Sonia, it was the best thing you ever did. By the end of the show, I was like this.
Wow.
And I said to my wife, I'm going to meet that guy. And she went, who? And I said, the guy in the white suit, Bob. I'm going to meet him.
Really?
And I didn't, and she goes, be careful what you say. Because she recited, whatever you put out to the universe. I said, no, I'll meet him one day. I know I will. And at that point, I'd met people like, I'd done some work with Colin Jackson, an inspiring talk with Roger Black, met so many great people. And I think that when you open yourself up a little bit more, the things that these people say resonate with you.
Sure.
Right? I heard about Tony Robbins before I got that book, but I thought it was just rubbish. Now afterwards when I started listening to people like Tony Robbins, I started to lean forward and understand a little bit because I was becoming open to it.
Sure.
And so then fast track from 2011 when we watched The Secret, I was 41 at the time, to 2017. I'm on stage with Bob Proctor.
Wow.
I'm co-hosting an event with him.
Really?
And he said to me, and this is a weird, that's got another weird story, but my wife and I did some work with his wife, Linda Proctor.
Sure.
And she asked me to be on stage with Bob. And I was like, what? I went, Bob who? She went, my husband, Bob. And I went, are you serious? She went, yeah. I said, you're hosting the event. I said, no one told me. She goes, I'm telling you now. So I'm on stage with Bob, and there's about 2,000 people sitting behind us, and I'm about to open the event, and I'm about to introduce Bob. And then before I get off stage, he holds my hand and he says, in front of everyone, he says, I see things in you that no one else can see, not even you. The moment you realize what I see, your life will change. And that hung with me.
Sure.
And has still, to this day, those words echo in my ears every time I say it to myself, every time I think about it. And that's what keeps me going. So coming back to tools and coming back to techniques, it doesn't happen like that. It takes time.
Sure.
It takes work. It takes self-belief. It takes an understanding. But when you realize that, that these things can actually impact your life, then you do what's right for you. I never used to journal. I never used to write gratitude statements. Sure. I now write gratitude. And if I'm not writing it, I'm reciting it because it's become a habit. I write an abundance prayer that my coach, Lauren Trillin, actually, an amazing woman, an amazing coach, very inspiring. She recited an abundance prayer, and I write that down. I know it off by heart. And those are the tools I use. I constantly question myself. So I question myself in terms of, if I don't do anything right,
sure,
I'll try and figure it out. We're all human beings.
Yeah.
There are times where I do sort of, based on sort of environmental impact or what's happening around me or society or news or whatever, you start to question yourself. You start to think, what am I doing? Am I doing the right thing? But then when I reflect, and I reflect a lot, and reflection I think is very important. I reflect on things like, how did that go? Did I do it right? Did I say it right? Did I act the right way? And then I have a great network around me. Again, my family are superb. Without them, I don't know where I'd be. And my wife constantly challenges me and says, hold on, think about that, think about this.
Sure.
And so I think the key tools that I think people can actually use is, first of all, realizing that you have an innate skill in you.
Sure.
That you have strength. We all have come onto this planet with a purpose, and just realizing what your purpose is important. Be grateful for the small things, not the big things. It's not about the car in your driveway. It's not about the house or how big your house is. It's not about the clothes you wear or the watch you wear or the materialistic things. But being grateful for being alive, being grateful for being able to wake up in the morning and breathe, being able to see, hear, speak, these simple things,
Sure.
breathe clean air, eat food, all of these simple things. I'm grateful for when I get up in the morning and I hear the birds singing, and I think I'm so lucky, just at that level. And so, these are things that are free.
Absolutely, for everyone.
For
all
everyone.
the rich people.
Exactly. It
Everybody
doesn't matter
has
who
same
you
access.
are. You've got access to it. And so I think that if you can be grateful for those things, if you're working, if you have a job, be grateful for that, for the people you work with, and I think that's important. And so writing down your gratitude in the morning is important. And then if you can meditate, and meditation doesn't mean sit under a banyan tree for 2 hours.
Sure.
5 minutes with yourself.
Yeah.
Walking, if you're walking your dog, or sitting in the garden, or just looking out your window to greenery or to water, anything that's natural and nature, that's meditation. It's about just channeling yourself. There are immense podcasts out there. There are immense programs out there, but keep it simple. Do what's right for you.
Yeah, absolutely. So when it comes to meditation, the people feel something like completely different, that perception. All you need to be switching off your thoughts, just you connecting with yourself.
100%.
That 5 minutes, right? So
100%.
if you like your dog, you spend time with the dog, or children, or pet, anything like that. It could be anything as a meditation. Just you
100%.
switching off
100%
from the noise.
That's it. That you've summarized it so beautifully there. It's switching off the noise.
Switching off the noise.
Yeah. I know a guy who, I used to know a guy who used to get immense joy, and he felt so deep within himself in gaming.
Yeah.
In third-party character gaming. So we're not talking about like Call of Duty or FIFA, but the ones that like Minecraft, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Where creativity, he was able to express his creativity. Art is a great way of meditating. If you're an artist, if you're a creative person, just drawing is. I see so many people find power in that. But yeah, it is. You're right. It's switching off the noise. 100%.
What's the key lesson from your Microsoft Startups mentorship that applies to all founders like me, anyone listening?
Are changing the industry that they focus on. So whether it's retail or health and life sciences or AI, the one common trait I see in a lot of them, I think I mentioned that earlier, is self-belief. They really want to create something that makes an impact and adds value. And I think that my guidance to any founder out there, we're in such an amazing age as founders that, from a technology standpoint, that there's so many resources out there. And I know artificial intelligence gets a bad name because it's replacing jobs, replacing people. But as a founder, you're in such a great position to change that mindset, to change that belief. Because, I say that it's HI equals AI.
HI.
So human intelligence equals artificial intelligence. Without it, it's developed by humans, right?
Yeah.
It didn't develop itself.
Yeah.
It's evolved from our belief that this is what technology can do.
Sure.
And there are so many startups out there that are using AI to improve the human life.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So many startups out there that are putting humans ahead of AI and using AI as a more of a technology stand back. When I mean stand back, it's supporting what humans can do. And so my guidance to founders is that, think about how you can still have the power of humans, the power of people within your startup, and still using AI to actually help you. Like, there's so many tools out there, that. There's so
Sure,
many tools
absolutely.
out there.
Absolutely.
So many applications out there that are improving business processes, giving people more time to do the work that they want to do. So when I think about the startups that I work with and the founders that I work with, the biggest trait is their vision. Being able to see where they are going.
Sure.
Being able to have a clear direction. And most importantly, and I think I said at the beginning, self-belief. Self-belief, undeniable self-belief that what they can do, what they want to do, is going to make a change, and a positive change.
What sparked your shift from corporate career into coaching? And then I can see again,
I'm back.
You're back to technology, but still you're mentoring Microsoft startups or business and founders.
I've always been a geek, I think. I remember when I was a kid, I used to take apart the stereo and rewire the house and put speakers and undo the carpet. My mum used to get really frustrated. I remember my dad once bought me electric racing car, and I wanted to know what it was like, so I took it apart and broke it.
Sure.
It wouldn't work. But then I thought it was something with a remote control, so I took that apart, and then I managed to, in the end, fix everything. So I was always a bit of a geek, I think, and which kind of got me interested into technology, and I loved it. My journey first kicked off with Ericsson, which challenged me like crazy, made me really uncomfortable. I now realize that being uncomfortable is the best place to be, because you learn and grow, and I did learn and grow. Had great sort of 5 years at Vodafone after that. The irony is I did a degree in financial services, right? Wow. I wanted to go into working in a bank like every Indian did at that point. And I call it the wrong deal, which is doctor, engineer, accountant, lawyer.
Yeah.
And I applied to Ericsson thinking it was a consultancy firm. I didn't realize it was a telco firm, and never looked back. And I thought, I spent 5 years studying finance. So before I joined Vodafone, I worked at Barclays Asset Finance for 18 months. It taught me a lot, but it didn't tick all the boxes for me. I wasn't excited. Then from Vodafone, I went to Microsoft. And the funny story about Microsoft is that at uni, when I was doing my thesis and my dissertation, I was using Office at the time. And I was thinking, I did that at college, now at uni, who is this company, Microsoft, right? And I started reading, I thought, wow, this is such an amazing company. I would love to work there one day. So when I got into technology, I used to apply there every year. Always got rejection. And there was 1 year I didn't apply. And I got a call from a headhunter. And I had the interview. It was like a grueling 8-hour interview. I was severely ill at the time, so I don't even know what I said in the interview. And I got in. And I mentioned it, reflection is so important.
Sure.
I remember hearing a talk a couple of years ago by Reverend Michael Beckwith, who talked about, when you put something out to the universe, it's like throwing a coin in the wishing well.
Sure.
You don't continuously stare at the wishing well. You don't continuously throw more coins in. You throw the coin in and you walk away and let the universe do it.
Yeah.
I was applying every year, and the 1 year I didn't apply is like me turning my back on the wishing well, and it happened. And so that was a great experience of my life. Again, met amazing people at Microsoft. The company helped me grow professionally, definitely. Some great experiences. And it was there that I had my first taste of coaching. So I was actually got into, Microsoft have a mentorship program. I was part of that mentorship program to help new entrants, new recruits get into Microsoft and get comfortable with the company. It's a huge company. It's a maze that continuously goes around. So that got my first taste into coaching. And And then obviously the midlife crisis, and then working with Bob, I had the opportunity to coach a lot of leaders and work with people. And then that's when I started officially doing my coaching, still working at Microsoft, but coaching outside as well.
Sure.
And then from coaching, from Microsoft to LinkedIn, continually coaching, working with small businesses, working with individuals primarily. I spent 6 months at BetterUp. Although the BetterUp experience in terms of didn't align with me the way they were going, I loved what the company had on offer and thought it is valuable. Coaching is still valuable.
Sure.
And that's when I got the call to say from Jeffrey M that, do you want to come and work with startups?
Wow.
And so what I've been doing for the last 3 years has brought my passion in technology and my passion of helping people together. And I think it's been a phenomenal ride for me. The last 4 years has been phenomenal.
So you're blending together.
Yeah.
You like to see the personal transformation with the business,
100%.
technology. Such a great,
100%.
unique ability.
And for me, it's great.
Comparatively, you're a business coach, mentor,
Yeah.
and technology.
It's opened up so much avenues
Yeah.
for me. Like, in terms of I've met some amazing people, amazing founders. Some blow my mind away, like, meeting sort of 18, 19-year-olds that are starting their business, their founder business, to people that are individuals that are like senior, 10, 15 years senior to me, starting out, doing their startup first time. And it's just so amazing. That I don't think there's no fixed, age limitation. What I love about the industry is that it doesn't matter where you're from, who you are, what your belief is. If you've got a passion and a value to make a difference in the world, the founders are great in that. And right now, every company, be it Microsoft, AWS, or Google, have all given great platforms to founders to kind of kickstart their dream.
Encourage especially with the
100%.
startups.
100%.
That's a rare quality. A person like, I've seen the personal transformation coaches, executive coaches, but who understand the technology and the corporate background. That's great.
I think that there's a real need for it. I think that, and more people are combining both. They know that they need that personal guidance and that support to help them fuel their business.
Yeah.
Because if you don't believe in yourself, then it's going to be very hard for you to lift your business off the ground.
I want to just talk about, since we are doing some coaching, personal transformation conversations, I've gone through your Conscious Conversations, a podcast. You talk about abundance and purpose. What does abundance means to you, and how can cultivate anyone?
I think there are so many definitions of abundance, and I think the first thing that when you talk about abundance to people, they think about sort of wealth, but abundance could be anything that gives you joy and gives you value.
Sure.
Becoming a parent for the first time is a form of abundance.
Sure.
Yeah. Even if you've got yourself a new pet, be it a puppy or a kitten, that gives you so much joy, gives you so much happiness. That could be abundance. Even having something as simple as a great cup of coffee,
sure,
right, could be abundance. So I think it's the definition of abundance is different for everyone, and you can feel abundant at any point in your life, at any point in the day. And an abundant mindset comes from realizing that it's not about wealth. Again, same thing as about when we talk about gratitude.
Sure.
It's not about wealth. It's not about the car you drive or the house you have. All of that has come from the fact that you have an abundant life, that you work hard, you get the rewards, you see the joy in life, you enjoy every moment that you have with your family or your friends or the people that you love. That brings you abundance. And I think that the definition for everyone is going to be different. It'll always be different, but as long as you realize it, there's a person I used to work with that left the corporate world and has opened up like a bicycle repair shop in somewhere in Spain. And he said, I feel the most abundant now. Because he's in nature, he's in the hills, he's helping people, he's by the ocean.
Sure.
Clean air, good wine, good food.
So for him, that's abundance.
For him, that's abundance. For me, when I take my dog out for a walk in the morning and it's just me and him and I can hear the birds singing, that's abundance. Spending quality time with my family. Yesterday, all three of my boys were at home. That was, to me, was a truly abundant moment because my whole family was here. And so, so it could be different for everyone.
Even the small things also abundance.
Yeah.
But how someone can realize that, because when you say abundance, they think directly of wealth,
Yeah.
prosperity. Mostly we can think of it, but you can see abundance in nature.
Exactly. I think look around
small
you.
Things that.
Yeah, look around you. Look around at the things that bring you joy. If it's getting up in the morning and having an amazing, like I said, an amazing cup of coffee.
Yeah.
And just coming back to losing yourself in that moment.
Sure.
If it's taking a walk on the beach and suddenly you forget about the rest of the world, that's an abundant moment when you're truly lost in yourself. I know people who have so much joy by just pounding it out in the gym. And when they get out, they feel so good about themselves. They feel great.
Sure.
Or even having that amazing meal, right? Yeah,
absolutely.
It could be anything. Yeah. I remember a couple of years ago, Sonia, my wife and I, we went to Dubai. I was doing a talk from LinkedIn. And we were sitting by the ocean. We were sitting in a restaurant by the ocean. And there was about 5 minutes we just sat there, like leaning back with our eyes closed and the sun in our face. And we could hear the water. And finally, we both got up afterwards. And I said to her, how do you feel? She goes, never felt more relaxed and more within myself. And her words were truly abundant. So it could just be that.
Sure.
And I think just looking around you and realizing the things that bring you joy is a great way of realizing how you can bring abundance into your life. And you can bring abundance to your life. You don't need to spend millions. You don't need to spend thousands. You don't need to... some people may need to go on a journey to do it, a personal journey. But, you'll know it when you get it. And you probably do have it and you don't realize you have it.
I think I take this as a kind of mindset shift.
It is a mindset shift. It's kind
of abundance mindset.
Yeah, an abundant mindset is just seeing the beauty in everything. Even if you're like, you're driving in a car park and, you said, I want to get that spot nearest the door. And you get that.
You get it.
That's an abundant mindset.
Yeah.
Right? My coach, so Lauren used to tell us that, for her, abundance was one day she was trying to park her car and there was no parking on the street.
Sure.
And she parked up. She found a spot. She parked up and realized she had no coins for the meter. And then someone came up to knocked on the window and gave her a ticket. Had an hour on there. That was abundance for me. I was like, oh my God, that just happened out of the blue. It's when someone buys you that free cup of coffee.
Yeah.
There's a great video actually. It reminds me, there's a great video, and I can't remember the title of it, but it's a British video. It's a UK video. And there was a teacher that did a trick about generosity. And he went out into London and randomly he would it was called, I think it's called Do One Kind Thing, something like that. And he'd pay for, there was a woman struggling to get on the bus with her shopping and she was trying to look for her coins. So he got his Oyster card out and paid for her ticket and walked off. And she went off. And then he's walking down the street and there's a road sweeper. And he took the broom, bought him a coffee, took the broom and made him sit down and started doing his job for him. Right? And there's little things like this. And it's a great video. And he did a test about how you can do one kind thing can bring you so much joy because you're making someone else happy. That's abundance. Helping an old lady across the street.
Sure.
Just doing that. That's abundance. It is a mindset shift.
Yeah, sure. It's a kind of conscious,
Yeah.
and then you need to see the signals where it's coming
The
from.
signals will happen.
Yeah,
If you're conscious about it, the signals will happen. Yeah. And it comes down to being aware of it. Like, you may have got that parking space right near the door, but you never thought, wow, that's an abundant thing. Oh, wow, I attracted that. Or, that you got that seat in the cinema, which you wanted straight in the middle. That was there, it was free. These things happen when you're conscious, when you're aware of it.
absolutely. So I can resonate right now, right this office. Actually, when I want to start this impact show, I don't know where to start. Do I need to hire? Do I need to buy the equipment? How can I bring the guest? What sort of niche I want to talk? There is many things, but I want to start something meaningful, something contribute. So thank God, everything I found in this space. I got Sunny here. I got the first guest who gently agreed to be part of this first as a guest.
Yeah.
I got everything. Just I got that idea.
Yeah.
That I started believing that, that maybe that you may say that like abundance mentality. I believe I want to do. I will do, and that happened.
Yeah. It does. It just happens.
So, what's one lesson you're most grateful for in your journey?
There are so many people I can thank. I think the biggest lesson for me was, waking up that I was personally accountable to myself. I have to be personally accountable to myself.
Okay.
My personal growth is up to me and no one else. And that lesson is a huge one to have, because I think we get, I think if I look back, I mean, nowadays, if I think about now, there are so many resources available to us.
Sure.
There's so many books on the shelf. There's, so many sort of you've got so many amazing people like Simon Sinek, Stephen Bartlett, Lewis Howes, Tony Robbins, Mel Robbins, all of these individuals giving us guidance. But if I look back sort of 15, 18 years ago, the resources weren't as great then. There wasn't that much available. There probably was, but I wasn't open to it.
Sure.
But I think the biggest lesson that I'm thankful for is, having people around me that showed me that, there's a skill, there's a quality in me. I have a skill. I have the ability to achieve whatever I want to achieve.
Sure.
That comes from, Sonia, my wife. That comes from my old boss, Alex Devacci, when I was at Microsoft. Giving me a platform, giving me an opportunity, but also making me realize that my personal growth is my journey. Everyone will support you on the way, but you've got to take the first step.
Sure.
And that comes from that was, I think, for me, if I look back, that is the underlying sort of, I would say, kind of impetus behind quantum growth. The first step starts from you. You make the decision. I mean, even with your impact show, you made the decision. No one else made it for you. You took the step, and then everything else followed, right? And I think that's the biggest lesson for me.
Just be curious on this. What's your day look like? Like any routines you?
Oh
you
God, my day, it's crazy. Yeah, I mean, obviously, get up in the morning. I have to take Ralphie for a walk.
Sure.
He won't let me. I escaped this morning. Got my son to take him for a walk, but I'll have to do it this evening.
Thank you.
But Ralphie would be the one that gets me up in the morning and says, right, we've got to go for a walk. And although it's a bit of a, do I need to do this? It's great when I get out. It's like going to the gym, right? When you go, you don't want to go, but when you do get there, you thank God that you're there. So Ralphie in the morning, I either listen to motivational music, or I'll listen to a podcast. Currently listening to Chris Williamson and Mark Manson. It's a great podcast. and I'll come back and I'll either journal, meditate, do some yoga, start the day with my black coffee,
Sure.
and then I'll get into work. I'll start switching on. I do my utmost best to not look at my phone.
In the morning.
In the morning, my phone is in the study.
Sure.
I don't touch it, and because otherwise I'll get sucked into the emails first thing, and it will ruin my day.
Sure.
In terms of, my momentum will go. Now, what I love about my routine that it's fluid. So I could either get up in the morning and do my journaling and then take Ravi for a walk, or vice versa. It's not kind of dun, 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 dun. And I think that's the most important thing. When it becomes regimented, it feels like it's a chore. If you build fluidity into it and build variance into it, then it makes it a little bit exciting. It makes it a little bit more kind of, today I did this, I did that, it's great. Tomorrow I can do it this way, that way. So yes, that's my kind of daily routine in the morning, getting up and then into work, emails, startup meetings, startup calls, end the day, and then at the end of the day, I'll just literally just relax, spend time with my wife, spend time with my son, spend time with the dog.
It's a recover.
Yeah,
You
kind of
recover.
recharge, read.
Completely switch off.
Yeah, read. I need to spend more time reading. I used to read a lot. I've stopped doing that. I need to do that again. I've got too many books that I have to read and catch up on.
So the final question, what would you tell your younger self before starting your coaching journey?
You got this. Believe in yourself. Or as my son would say, back yourself.
Back yourself.
Back yourself. I mean, that's all about believe in yourself, trust your ability, trust your intuition, trust your decisions. One of the biggest things I would say to myself is don't look at others, but look at the reflection and let that grow.
Compete with yourself.
Compete with yourself. Don't compete with others. I spent a lot of my life looking at others thinking, what if? Why didn't I do that? Why didn't I achieve that? And I don't think it helps anyone when you compare yourself to others. Comparison, I think, is the biggest poison.
Sure.
And I think that's something that I've stopped doing. And I realized the moment I stopped doing it, things started to change for me. Because again, you're opening yourself up. Your energy is focused on someone else. Your energy is not focused on you. And that's when my son says, back yourself. That's what I hear in that, is back yourself is that just believe in yourself. Like, keep your energy focused on you. And put yourself at the top of the pyramid. So I would always say to myself, back yourself.
Back yourself. Thank you, Vikas. Thank you.
Thank
I
you.
mean, really we covered personal transformation, business transformation, and
No, thank you for the
entrepreneurship.
opportunity of
Thank
being
you.
part of the Impact Show.
Thank you.